So my next project here is putting on this rear step. I've wanted to have one for a while on my truck, but I did not exactly know how to put it on. Well, I got it. Came with zero instructions. So I had to look at some pictures, and conveniently, virtually every picture on the internet is of some custom piece or on a 90, which a 90 has a slightly different rear cross member on it, or at least looks different because the mud flap on a 110 is way in here, and a 90 is right here. Well, I didn't know if there was something weird, and like I said, no instructions. So I looked around, and I found this point here, and another bolt that goes in here. As you can see, my adjustable tow hitch is in the way. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to bolt it in here and here just like it is, but the step will be still bolted to the bottom of this hitch because the bracket that is right here goes in here just fine. So I'm going to pull this bolt out right there, and then I'm going to put some washers, some stainless steel washers in here as a spacer. While I was looking through here, I found that this is an M10. I don't know if that's normal, because in the kit it came with M8. This is a M8, and yeah, useless. So my next step was to hunt down a different bolt. This is not the right one. This is not the one that's going to end up staying in here. It is M10 1.5 mil on the threads, or it's a 1.5 thread, whatever the heck that is. I think it's mils, but I'm not sure. So this is just an old bolt that I had. It's about the right size. I'm eventually going to replace this with a 17 mil head of the same size in stainless. But when I went in here, originally, this would not go up this hole, which was inconvenient. It just kind of would not thread in there. So what I had to do is I used one of these. It is a tap and die set. Ran this up in the hole, all the way up. I think it may be made of Chinesium. It's not particularly amazing quality build, because now the threads that were on the tap side are now all stripped. Fun times. On my second one now. But as I did that, it stripped all of the paint and rust and grime and all that stuff out of this hole. And I also ran this here, which is just which is the thread side of a tap and die set, along the bolt, and clean this up. So it now will go in there. I've ran it up with a socket. This is a 13 mil bolt. Doesn't really matter. You can be any size as long as it's an M10. In my case, because that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to put this in, or put that in there with some anti-seize thread lock stuff, and I have to back this out and reattach. I will be back as soon as that's done. I'm not going to actually show any of the steps of connecting it because it's pretty simple that thing goes in there. But we'll be able to see the finished product hopefully. So after looking at it, I noticed these things came with my set. These are M8 bushings for the bolts that were provided, and they are absolutely useless to me. I could get one in this side, but I'm not going to put one in this side because that is a big fat M10 17 mil bolt, and since it's on the tow hitch, it needs to be as big and beefy as possible. So I'm going to keep going with this. You can see here I put 3 stainless steel spacers in. The one headache you're going to have is because this spring is on here, and this thing adjusts. It goes in and out for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's to facilitate putting in the spring or whatever the case happens to be. Seems like a good enough excuse as any. You hook the spring in, and this thing will be over here. You do need to fiddle with it and adjust it and get it so that it's over all the way. You see how that's all the way over? Maybe? I don't know. I hope. Because there is a metal ledge you have to be able to get this part under. It is there to keep this from going too far. This step here. So you can see there's also zinc anti-seize all over everything, so I will clean that up here shortly. So there it is, fully installed. I am having a bit of a headache because this piece right here and this piece right here rub when you close it. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, they rub together. So something's a little bit off, but overall it's installed. I'm going to try to figure this one out. It might be something as simple as more or less spacers on this side, something along those lines, but you just kind of have to fiddle with these things sometimes. They do not always do exactly what you expect to. But anyway, in my project, I now have a step. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.